Good morning, happy Monday morning. SmartHelping.com here. I'm Jay, and we are going to jump into the vending machine upgrade. We're adding a three statement model, cap table, capex schedule, and this one's going to be good. Uh, this is the last one I'm doing, and then I'm going to be doing brand new businesses and building templates for things that I've never built a template for before. So before I get into it, let's sound check ourselves and get the link out to Twitter. Here we go. All right. And okay, sounds working. So this model I'm going to upgrade today is part of it's in the industries category at smarthelping.com. Uh, where we vending machines. Here it is. So this is a model. It's fully built out for all the assumptions. It gets down to EBITDA and actually net income, but it doesn't have formal financial statements. I've been upgrading all the startup models since January every week, as you see me here live, um, with three statement models, and that just means income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement, monthly and annual. So this is one of the last ones I'm doing. Now there's still a couple like the bike shop model. There's still a few in the works, but I'm going to do those more sparsely now, and I'm going to focus on new models. So I might do another upgrade or integration of like one that I haven't done. I mean, there's probably only like five left, but maybe in a month or something or 2 months. But I've got the bulk of them done. If you look at these industry specific models, um, these are all done, done. I can't even find one I haven't done yet. Um, Ad network, that's one I have not. We did the e-commerce one last week. That went well. I also did an inventory tracker in Google Sheets last week. That was pretty good. Um, 3D printing I have not done. Zoo or amusement park. Recycling. So there's a couple in here that I haven't, but mostly they're all gone. So I'm excited about that. We're gonna move on to a new phase now after this week. Remember, you can buy all the financial models and templates I've built at SmartHelping.com uh, for $9.99. That gets you access to everything I've done, or you can buy in category depending on different. I've got real estate, SaaS, these startup models we just went through, joint venture, distribution waterfalls, accounting and finance tools for the accounting departments, HR trackers, personal finance tools, some just cool Google stuff, Google Sheet stuff, sales pipeline stuff, and general business valuation. Okay. Well, that's all I got for announcements. Let's jump in here. So, uh, if we look at the vending machine spreadsheet, it's laid out really nice. We have up to three vending machine types that can be deployed, and you can determine the amount of each one that you want to deploy each month through the whole through 60 months. It'll show based on the purchase price per unit for per vending machine unit. It'll show you your total purchase cost for each category. The total purchase is here. Um, there's also possibly cost of deployment, shipping, and setup, which you can define for each of the three types of vending machines separately. So that's the general deployment schedule, and then the revenue logic is pretty interesting here. Um, so you got your three vending machine types. You could define the height and width. These are obviously the columns in depth because you got to think about um, you've got how many columns down, how many uh, or actually how many rows down, how many columns over, and then how many units in each. row going back. So that will define the total units that you can fill the machine with, total things. And then it's just based on, then you got refills per month, and then you got a certain amount of waste if you can't sell stuff and it expires. Um, and then you just define the average price per item sold and the weighted average cost of goods sold percentage. Now these two obviously, so we're not manually defining every single one of the, this would be a 7 by 7 grid, so all 49 items individually. We're just doing a weighted average price. And on this, I did put in a helper. So you can define up to 100 units. You can define each individual unit's price and the expected sales per month, and then that will give you your weighted average price that you can plug into the assumptions tab. So I did do a helper here. Same with cost of goods sold. You can define that per unit, and based on the amount expected to be sold per unit, you get an average cost of goods sold percentage, which is this. So so that's pretty nice. Now, what we have to do to build a three-statement model is let's think about what base template I can use that I've done in the past for this. And so obviously, let's think about this. So vending machines, we've got tranches of deployments here. It's expected that the useful life will be the same for all three types. What will just change is the total purchase amount in each tranche, depending on how many units there are. So I believe we'll probably want to use something that has CapEx where we extended it past like 15 possible slots. Here we've got 60 for 60 months worth of buying stuff. So maybe the general rental business. There's also going to be inventory, which is your cost of goods sold, which is all the stuff you're putting in the vending machines. I'm assuming for accounting purposes, until you sell it, it's your inventory. And also, there's going to be some schedule for restocking. So let me think about this. Oh, we've also did seasonality in here by year per month. So year one, here's your expected percentage of max capacity attained, etc. So it's based on capacity, and then some months you might sell more or less if it's a certain type of product. So you can define that for the different types of vending machines as well. Now I'm trying to think here about what are we gonna do for inventory? I want to target cost of goods sold. I'm just seeing if I broke out purchases anywhere on here. Oh, I did do a depreciation schedule actually, based on a useful life. Oh wait, so we might be able to use this. So here's the dynamic depreciation. I can actually target this in the income statement right there and just do one row for it. Okay, this is perfect. So now I don't have to worry about having a bunch of extra slots on the CapEx. So this is going to handle all of the CapEx for all the vending machines in essentially one row on the income statement, which I'll add. And then the other row can be like other general fixed assets that you might purchase. I mean, in this case, if it's a big operation, you might have bought the vehicles that you're using to deliver stuff to, just miscellaneous things. So this is good. So now I don't have to try to modify the CapEx schedule like and make it fit something. So that's perfect. Um, okay, so inventory. I believe then we're just gonna have to. It looks like I just did cost of goods sold here. So what we'll do is just a general inventory one where we assume you're going to purchase the amount of inventory ahead of time based on X amount of months, so you could do it every 3 months, and it'll just do a simple offset where the cash comes out in month N, and then the actual cost of goods sold will reduce that over time. Now, the thing is, this cost of goods sold doesn't account for 100% of the inventory unless these are all set at 100. So this is saying you lose some capacity, but you also have waste here. So that obviously is inventory that is destroyed. So let's see how we did on that calculation. So we did max sales is based on the seasonality times revenue E12 max sales. So that's based on no waste. So this is the absolute maximum. So to figure out purchases, okay, good. I broke out waste. Perfect. That's really good. So now I have actual sales, but you're actually purchasing this amount. Now, when I did cost of goods sold, did I work around that? Yes, I used max sales, max, yeah, max sales for cost of goods sold. So I see what I did here is I bypassed the way I assumed I'm paying for this amount. There's some waste. There's some amount I don't sell, which is this is my actual sales. Now the trick is, so I know why I did that is it was to get the proper cash flow. However, we can be more accurate now. So this is going to be a little bit of a upgrade to the base logic. So now I can say this cost of goods sold is not going to be based on this max sale. It's going to be based on the actual sales after accounting for waste and anything, any capacity not attained. And then, so that's cost of goods sold. I'll have to track how much of it was waste or just not sold. Because if you look at, so this is the absolute max, and you've got waste is that total times the amount that goes to waste. So you reduce that, and then you actually have, hold on, let's see. So this is based on seasonality. So that percentage times that is the actual amount that you expect to sell. So that's the amount you're going to expect to purchase. So that actually we don't have to do any advanced things there. We just have to account for this waste. So all I'll do for the inventory is the cost of goods sold will be changed to actually only what is sold. But then we'll have a calculation for waste, and it'll just do the amount for type 1, 2, and 3 times the cost of goods sold per type percentage, which is this. Average price per items, oh no, which is this, weighted average cost of goods sold. So you're charging this amount, this is your cost, and that's how you're going to make a margin here. And so my inventory purchasing, I have to add, well, let's think. So this right now rolls it all the way to the top, cost of goods sold. I'm wondering if that's okay to just have that be the cost of goods sold since it does account for everything that you're expecting to buy. It's just actually not you're just basically counting the waste. You're assuming waste is a cost, which I think, you know what, that's probably okay. So let's just keep it as this is the cost of goods sold, and then we can directly reference that for our inventory calculation. All right, so that's the main complexities here. That should be fine to deal with. Let's look at, so really I just need a previous three statement model I've done that has inventory in it, which I think the last one, the e-commerce build, we had some inventory. Let's pull that up here. Let's do a quick check on this. Perfect. Okay, So here we did inventory based on a cost of goods sold. So this, and there's not going to, for the vending machine, there'll only be one row for cost of goods sold, so that's fine. Um, and then, yeah, balance sheet, we got inventory. Okay, so this should be pretty smooth, actually. Uh, shouldn't be too much of an issue. So what I'll do to import, I'm going to copy the text name of each tab I'm importing. And notice all of those tabs will have spaces in them, and the space allows me to do a find and replace on my destination spreadsheet without encountering any errors. And then I don't have to manually rebuild all the references for all of the three statement models and everything else. Um, Now I do have executive summary distributions in here, so that's great. Let's just rename that one. Validation is fine. We'll just have that as one. Now remember, this depreciation we're going to use, so we'll have some slight modifications there, but I will also have, so see here's a general CapEx schedule. For anything that you buy for the vending machine business outside of the vending machines that you might have to depreciate, um, you'll be able to also account for that. And there's just some, 16 items there. So that should be okay. Let's start adding the tabs. So we got, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I've got financial statements. Change the name of this to monthly detail, annual detail. And so this is income statement. Oh, monthly income statement, annual balance sheet, monthly balance sheet, annual cash flow statement, monthly. Make these a little bit of a different shade. Then we'll import in all of the logic and then see what broke, try to fix that today. And then tomorrow we will hopefully finish this thing up and then be done with the integrations. And then the rest of the week, I don't know what I'll build. I did stream every single day last week, which was great. Got some good content out and got a new template out that I think is pretty valuable. So I do believe I will be doing something else this week. I don't know what. I'm open to suggestions as well. If not, I'm sure I'll find something. Um, let's see here. Okay, so we also want to get our CapEx schedule in here, inventory. Put this at the end. These are going to be their own areas, so we can clear that out of here. Cap table we're going to add in case you're going to, get some investors and do something kind of big. Cap table, CapEx. What else do we need? Terminal value, startup costs. Now, startup costs in this case is probably going to reference any like legal fees, upfront costs, building maybe a website. I don't know. Anything that has to do with starting a business that's happens before you begin operations. Okay, this is good. Let's bring the debt schedule over here. In case you're financing some of the startup costs with a traditional loan, we'll account for that as well. All right, well, inventory term. I think we got everything. I'll rename this global control. I think that's everything. Global capex. Did I do terminal value? Yeah, inventory. All right. Well, let's import and see if we come up good here. Let me copy the control. And really, honestly, I would rather define what I'm doing here. It's more of than a financial model, honestly. It's really a financial simulation. We'll call this Vending Co. We'll start 2023. Um, okay, so global control. We're just going to paste in all of this logic and then do find and replace. And no, most of what I'm adding is just, you could think of it as almost ancillary reports that are just common to investors and just accounting, just to make the results of what you're building and the assumptions more understandable and more digestible to um, just a general accounting audience. Uh, so that's why we've been upgrading all these models for the last 7 months. Okay, so global control. What did I just do? CapEx. Oops, I put this is cap table. That's not supposed to go in startup costs. Clear that. Okay, so the CapEx schedule. I know it's kind of confusing. CapEx, you'd think you're thinking of the vending machines, but we're accounting for all of that on its own, entirely own matrix schedule all the way at the back here. So this is going to determine the costs, life of the machines, and I can just plug this into a single. The point of it is to basically figure out the cost to initially purchase, and then the depreciation over time is essentially all we really need from that. So that'll do it. And that saves me from having to do 60 different rows in this CapEx schedule, which is much more complicated, and there's no need for doing that, I don't think. We might get a little tricky on the exit because you're going to assume on exit you're obviously selling your vending machines as assets, which is going to have some kind of a basis for cost and a gain. So I'll have to see. I might add a row in here that's specifically accounting for all the vending machines. We'll see how that goes, but that's going to be something that we deal with tomorrow. Okay, cap table, terminal value, inventory. This little piece of logic here I built a couple years ago for inventory calculation is pretty cool. And I try to make everything, all the logic and everything I can. If it's, I try to make it broadly usable and not too specific. So like what's nice about this is you can essentially just hook it up to the cost of goods sold, and now you can get an offset of cash flow versus the cost of goods sold. And you can manually define the months that you're going to purchase your inventory for over time. And modeling is never going to be perfect, but you're just trying to reflect what you expect to do as best as you can. Um, let's get this logic in here to the debt schedule. going to save this. V2. And then also we have some logic on the amortization that we got to add, so it includes the full repayment if we do select to include terminal value in the exit. Okay, so that's working. What else are we doing here? Inventories in, terminal value, cap table, capex, global control. Um, is that everything? We might be ready to do our find and replace, actually. Oh, no. So let's do the most important thing that we're doing here, the financial statements. Get these in. So we've got income statement monthly, annual, and this saves a ton of time with all this formatting and referencing. Uh, when I first started doing this, I still was importing these, but I was manually changing all the references to the other workbook, and it was definitely super time consuming. And then a step further, imagine you were doing this from scratch. You can see um, it takes a lot of time to make sure it's working right when you have to manually build all the references. And it's always a puzzle. You'll have to having this initial structure is super helpful. And so yeah, that's why again I'm doing it for all of these startup models. All right, so those are all in. I believe we're all set. Let's try and do it so we don't need this anymore. So we go find and replace anything that says, what are we replacing? So anything that says reference to that workbook, we want to replace with a blank. And you can see right there why you're replacing it, why you have to have a space in between everything you're importing, all the tabs that you're importing. Because if you did this and removed the reference to the other workbook, it will put the two apostrophes on the left and right of the text, and if it's not a space, that'll give you an error. And I figured that out pretty quick when we started like the first or second template. I realized that. So, all right, let's do it. Nice, 13,000 replacements. So that worked. I love when I get on the first try. Um, all right, we're moving and grooving. Now I'm just going to do some formatting updates to the general spreadsheet and fix a couple. There's probably some stuff on the monthly detail I need to adjust, so we'll go ahead and do that here shortly. Uh, and yeah, we'll just keep it moving here. I'm just checking one thing real quick. Yeah, this morning I had a request for a financial model for a summer camp, and I was trying to think of what might fit that I've already built, and actually the car wash model might do it pretty good because it's got seasonality, so obviously you're going to have revenue in the summer only, or most likely. So there's logic for that in the car wash model, and also you would just treat each payment fee as a individual car wash, and you could just change the text, but it's just essentially saying, okay, how many of these are you going to have per month, and what are they paying? There's also variable costs connected to that that you can put in, and then you can also enter some fixed costs. So I know it doesn't sound like it, but that's the thing with a lot of the models I build is it's not like they're not too specific that it only. Some of them are like this vending machine model. Um, you basically could fit it to anything, but you have to be selling. Uh, you have to be buying something that you're going to sell stuff out of, essentially. And I guess it would work for anything that is relevant to that. And like the mining financial model, open pit mine's probably pretty specific. Um, but in general, there's all kinds of creativity with these, and you can really get flexible with what you're doing with all the revenue levers and everything. All right, so next up, what I want to do is format. So what's nice about this, it's already pretty well formatted. What's existing, let's just ooh, whoops, we forgot to put in startup costs. Let me grab that real quick. Now, luckily the tab was there, so all the references are there. That's fine. I just got to paste this in. Okay, no worries there. So let's format everything that we imported, remove our grid lines, make it look nice. Yeah, and I'm ramping up a lot of my consulting work on Upwork, so I'll probably get some new ideas from that as well. I've been pretty passive on there for a while, but I feel like getting a little busy, so I've been messing around on there. Who knows what I might come up with. Terminal value. All right, let's put all these to width of 15. Remove the grid lines. It is really nice to have a swath of templates to work from, especially doing consulting work. Like having all these available is super helpful. All right, last one, cash flow statement. All right, so that's fine. Let's make sure we did all these right. Freeze. Yep. No, we didn't freeze this one. Okay, perfect. That's fine. These are good. Visuals looking fine. What do I want to do here? Inventory. Okay. let's update this. So here you can see I have this stopper if E4 the date is greater than the global control. Oh, I know what I was going to do. The date updates. Hold on before we get into this. So let's update the date functions or formatting because our global controls got a little bit different position than it did. So 2023, just update all this to 2023. And that's important when you're using a simulation like this and you change the launch year. You need to make sure your drop down dates match and you don't have something starting before your actual launch year. But logically, that's why I say when you use these templates, just go and build, put in the assumptions like you're actually doing it and think about everything you're inputting, and it should um, flow accordingly. Like and if you did that, you wouldn't logically put a month of expenditure prior to the launch year. So that's why I say it's best just, you know, act like you're actually trying to build it step by step and go through every single input, um, and think about everything, every input that you're entering. Like see here, all these change to 2023 now. And I just offset these so I have a way to check and make sure the logic is working. And everything in here is arbitrary. When you go to fill this out, you'll put in all your own numbers and all the light yellow cells. All right, I think I got all this that updated. So let's go back to the monthly. So what I was about to do is, so this stopper is checking if global control C5 is less than the date here or not. And that's how we're defining if the model should end or not. So what we want to do is replace all the formulas on this tab, that everything that says global control C5 needs to say C6, which is the end month only on the sheet. Place all. There we go. So now we fixed some of the things that were going on here. Remember, we did have a year zero deployment, so that's why these are here, potentially. All right, so that's working. Let's see if we had anything else that was referencing C5 that didn't get pulled for whatever reason. Sometimes if I didn't lock the 6, but I locked the C, because the formula didn't need to be drug down, I wouldn't pick it up with that find and replace, and I have to manually do that one. But so far this looks good. Yep. So I did the same thing for all of the, oh, here. So see, this is C5 still. So I also want to replace everything that says C5. Got it. Okay, I think we're good. Okay. So some other final format things. So one-time startup costs. I guess this can stay. What? Do I want it to? Yeah, we'll just make it one row on here, and same with capex. Now vending machine purchases. Let's see, how did I do this? I got depreciation starting, right here. So this information we will keep because we're going to use that. Now I went down to earnings before taxes, so I tried to do all that granular. We went down to net income, but see, that's going to be on the income statement. So all I really need here is cash flow. I don't care about any of this because it's going to be elsewhere now. But I do care about the cash flow, so that needs to be accurate still. And then we'll add in those other cash flow items from the cash flow statement once we have that. This can stay. Depreciation expense, I do not need here. It's because it's going to be in the income statement. And this is just referencing that matrix tab, row E30. So we can clear that off of here. This is fine. This can all just stay. Let me set this to 1 year back. Oh, we got to put the validation on here actually for the exit month. All right. So that works. That's fine. Let's make the annual detail cleaned up like the monthly. And then tomorrow we'll get into all of the fun stuff of making all this stuff work together. So we cleared that out. We'll keep this. This is fine. We don't care about this anymore. EBITDA per vending machine, that's nice calc. We'll keep that in. Okay, looks good. I'm going to, so tomorrow we'll kind of fit everything together, format this up. We'll get the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement all going good. I don't see any real complications except for on the exit. I'm gonna have to figure out how I deal with the exit of or the value of the vending machines. Like whether because it's gonna you're assuming that when you sell the business, if you're going to account for a sale, then you're selling those vending machines potentially at some markup from their cost basis and against their depreciation. So I might have to do a little bit of stuff there, but it shouldn't be too bad. We'll see tomorrow. But yeah, so this is prepared for me, and I will finish the model hopefully tomorrow. And then it's on to brand new things, and I probably won't do another integration. I only have a couple left anyway. Probably for 2 to 3 months, I'd say. A while. I'm going to start doing new stuff, so that's exciting. I don't know what business I'm going to start with. We'll see. I am taking requests. So don't forget, check out smarthelping.com if you want to see some more or get all the financial models I've built. I've done a lot of stuff across a bunch of different industries. I've also put a request tab here so you can request things, and then you can buy everything I've ever built for $9.99. It includes I think I've got well over 120 templates now, and 95% of the startup models all have three statement integrations into them as well as cap table.